has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free.
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved up. It got shoved, right?
So one thing we would be doing the audience a disservice of if we moved on without talking about this. And I know we've been anxious as a group to talk about this, saving it for the airwaves. But the Friday night opening game, and I think there's kind of a mix of opinions here. I know where I stand on it, Nikki. I know I have a pretty good idea where you stand on this. But so I'll let you start us off, Nikki. I think that this is a tradition that you hold near and dear to your heart. So give us the Hamburg Manifesto on Friday night openers.
I'll cut the manifesto short because it could be a couple hours. But I mean, look, I was a Spartan, as you guys were, from 2012 to 2016. All 4 years we had the Friday night game. And that was probably the greatest era of Spartan football in at least 50 years. And we've been doing it ever since. It's been a great D'Antonio. Brings me D'Antonio vibes, makes me think about the old things. Mm-hmm. I like it. It kind of feels like it's a little special. Like it's kind of like it's MSU's night because it feels like we're the only team that consistently gets that. We get our little fun early year tradition. Reminds you of the good times. And while I do not like the other Friday games that we have, I will say this: I'm not a Friday game guy. I do think that first week, just because school's just starting, especially for the students, like you get that Friday night rush of that first game. You get to see the beautiful sunset, and it just magical. It's pure East Lansing magic.
It's always a beautiful day for football. Trav, give me your thoughts here. I know you have a beef with the Friday night games.
Yeah, so I used to be like Nikki. When we were students there, I loved it. First couple years out of college, I loved it, especially because it gave me something to do on a Friday night. But nowadays, I've had to – it's kind of personal reasons because I've had to go back to covering high school football on Friday nights, and I haven't been able to sit down and watch the opener from start to finish live in like 5 years. So that bothers me. You guys know me well. I am for my entire life, I've been one of the biggest diehard MSU fans, MSU followers. That was the only school I was going to go to as long as I got in, and that's what happened. And it's just, I want to be able to watch every game from start to finish, and I can't do that anymore when it's on Friday nights.
I get that.
It's selfish, but hey. I mean,
fair point.
Yeah, you're only thinking of yourself. Well, I want to preface my thoughts on this by saying I have no problem with the season openers on Friday night. I think I'm a big fan of traditions. College football's full of them, and I think anytime your team can have one, I think that's great. Where I start to have problems. Now, we also have 2 other Friday night games. Now there's 3 Friday night games on the schedule, which is 3 too many in my opinion. I am a big believer that college football is meant to be played on Saturdays. Michigan State starting the year on Fridays, no problem. It would be way more exciting to me if there was better matchups. When I go back to our first game freshman year, Boise State, and I know these games are scheduled way out in advance, but Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Utah State, like it just doesn't like – it's this big spectacle all for, a game that they should win most of the time. And we kind of had some close calls,
Had a close call with Furman, I think it was.
Yeah. So so not like I said, I'm a huge believer that college football is meant to be played on Saturdays between the times of 12:30 and 4 or 12 noon and 4 o'clock. But I'm not going to sit here and bitch that Michigan State is a cool tradition. Where I got my biggest gripe was when the schedule came out and the game was not originally scheduled for Friday night. The Michigan State fans acted like you woke them up at 6 a.m., peed in their Cheerios, and told them they had to work until they passed out. They acted like they were so wrong We already have 2 other Friday night games on the schedule. Do we like? Is it really that big of a deal to open the season on a Saturday? Like, it's like they act like it was the end of the world.
I think part of the reason why people were mad was it was like we have these 2 bullshit Friday games, but we can't even get the Friday night game on the actual game we'd want. That's where I was. That's what I was the most angry about.
I would rather have the opener on a Friday night than a midseason.
Yeah, if you're gonna play a Friday night game, absolutely should be the opener.
Yeah.
But now you have 3, and it's like, geez, Pete, it's like mid-season Friday night games, no go. But I could go on all day, but I will just stand by my opinion. College football is meant to be played on Saturdays, and 3 Friday night games is just 3 too many. But I'm not going to sit here also complain about having a primetime game on Friday night. It's kind of a tradition. So we all can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, that's right, punk.
Looks that way. Yeah.